And here we go. All right. Well, we don't have a whole lot to go over. It is pretty much all baseball news, if not just baseball news. The Blue Jays played their home opener and season opener today, and they beat the absolute shit. And I mean they beat the absolute shit out of the Oakland Athletics 3-2 with a walk-off win. So that's it. That's all we need to talk about today. But now we'll break down the stats a little bit. Kevin Gausman was crazy tonight. So he pitched 6 innings, had 11 strikeouts, only allowed 1 hit, no walks. Unfortunately, that 1 hit was one of the 2 home runs that Shea Langeliers hit. Shea Langeliers, great little catcher for power. And he set a franchise record today. So the franchise record being that, is the most strikeouts of any Jays pitcher in franchise history for an opening day. So Gausman was electric. He definitely dialed it up today against a very good and deep lineup. I did not know that, I knew about the top 6. I think anyone that knows baseball knows that Oakland has a very good top 6. But they've got Jeff McNeil hitting 8th. Jeff McNeil is a pretty damn good hitter. So they only had 3 hits. All of them came from fucking Shea Langeliers. The only problem is another one of his home runs came in the 9th inning against Jeff Hoffman. And Jeff Hoffman became the 2nd pitcher in Major League history to have a blown save while striking out 4 in an inning. So he struck out everyone he faced, but he did blow it. Well, he didn't strike out everyone he faced, but he, how the fuck does that make any sense? He had 4 strikeouts in an inning. How does that make sense? Okay, let me just think here. I was not watching. Must have let a guy. What the fuck does that mean? He had 2 home runs, 1 in the 9th inning on Hoffman. Oh, that just means that there was an extra out. There must have been, base runner reach. That's my bad. A base runner reach, basically, after the fact. So he struck out 4 in an inning, and yeah, that is true. 2nd player to do that. That's the only problem with Hoffman, is he is susceptible to the long ball. It was a good pitch up in the zone. I get maybe you want to throw it as a ball, but it was on the outskirts of the plate there. Now, worth mentioning that the Jays made their first challenge ever in the 9th inning. So it was against Nick Kurtz, and it was a pitch, a borderline pitch, so I can't really get on the ump too bad for missing the call. But they called it a ball, and it would have been a walk. And so that would have been a 2-run home run for Shea Langeliers. Instead becomes a solo shot, so the Jays keep the score at 2-2 and go on to score a run and win. But it just shows you that these challenges are going to be valuable, and I think you need to be smart with them. And I'd probably save most of mine for late in the game. I think early in the game, unless it's clear and obvious and it's got some importance to it, I probably wouldn't be throwing the challenge right away. High leverage challenge is the way I would see it. We got to see Louis Varland work out of the pen, and Ty Rogers. Rogers looked awesome. Lots of weak contact. To me, I know it would be very unorthodox, but I think he's the safest bet if we were to have him as a closer. And I don't care who the closer is. I like going by a committee, but he doesn't let home runs. It's all soft contact. I get that he's a sidewinder, whatever you want, a power arm, but I feel like these guys are always fucking prepared for a power arm. Bring in the soft tosser and see what the hell happens. He looks incredible, and he doesn't let home runs the same way that Varland and Hoffman do. So I don't know. Remember, we lost the World Series because Hoffman let a home run. Hoffman let a lot of home runs last year. It was over double digits as a reliever. It's concerning for me. It is day 1, but it is concerning for me. Not a lot on offense for the Jays, but we did have 7 hits to Oakland's 3. Vlad Guerrero had a walk and a hit, and basically the rest was all done. The rest of the damage was done by the bottom of the lineup. 2 hits for Okamoto with 2 runs scored in his debut. 2 hits for Ernie Clement with a run scored as well. And Andres Jimenez went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a walk. Although I will say one of Andres Jimenez's hits was based on a miscommunication between the center fielder and the left fielder, Soderstrom. So it's one that they don't call it an error. It has to hit the glove to be an error. It's probably an error based on what I was hearing. I did not see the play. Based on how it was described to me, I would say it was probably a bit of an error. Now, I do have a bit of an interesting question here. I really liked, and I did see the first hit that Okamoto had, and it was a pitch. It was probably 3-4 inches off the plate at least, and he was able to yank it for a bloop hit into left field. Look at, he's got pretty good plate coverage and a pretty good ability to get the bat on the ball. I believe he's got pretty good swing power too. We can get into that some other time. But I was thinking to myself, okay, you've got Bo Bichette on the Mets as a third baseman, and you've got Okamoto, who's going to be a third baseman, and occasionally play first base when Vladimir Guerrero's DHing. So, and I had idiots in the offseason, by the way, telling me, no, Okamoto's going to play the outfield. Okamoto's going to play the outfield. And I called them idiots, and they're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Well, I do know what I'm talking about. I'm smarter than you are. I got a higher IQ. You guys are fucking idiots. And any of those people in the offseason that I trolled should come back here and give me a fucking apology, and they should kiss my bare fucking ass because I'm sick of their shit. And Sage, I think it's time for another heel turn on Twitter. One of epic proportions. I think it's time to start calling out everyone. Just start calling out everyone. You know, these fucking people. I swear to God, just the same way I got called out by saying Kyle Tucker's not going to go to Baltimore. Guess what? Kyle Tucker didn't go to Baltimore, did he? He didn't fucking go to Baltimore. But it actually leads me to a really good question here. Okamoto comes over. Okamoto's going to play very good D. I know he's going to play good D. His contact's probably going to be very good, 260, 270. I see 20 to 25 home run potential, that sort of thing. Could he hit 30? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. You never know. So my question is, and I don't know much about his on-base percentage, but he's from Japan. Those guys are fucking disciplined. These guys learned to play baseball by swinging samurai swords at fucking apples. Like, these guys know what the fuck they're doing with the baseball bat. Is Okamoto going to have a higher WAR, an overall WAR, than Bo Bichette this season? And I'm actually thinking this question in my head. So WAR is wins above replacement. It seems to be calculated different on Fangraphs, on Baseball Reference. But basically, if you don't know what WAR is, it's a combination of your offense and your defense. And it just, kind of combines shit together. And, you learn how many wins above replacement are. So, like, the best players in the world will have 10 wins above replacement. That's like your Aaron Judges. Barry Bonds will be higher than that. That's your MVPs. Is right around 8 to 10 or sometimes higher. Now, a very good player, like if we bring up Bo Bichette and kind of look at what he's done in his career. Now, this is Baseball Reference, so I'm going to get Baseball Reference as well as Fangraphs. And we're just going to look at his best WARs that he has put up in his career. Because I think it's a very good question. Which one is going to have a better WAR this season? So, if you look at the WARs, they are different. You've got a 5.9 in 2021 for Bo Bichette and a 4.8 in 2023. Other than that, the highest WAR he's had is 3.7 in 2022 and 3.5 last year. Bo Bichette on Fangraphs, his highest WAR was a 4.9 in 2021, a 4.8 in 2022, a 3.9 in 2023, and a 3.8 in 2025. Okay, so my question becomes, and I had this in my head even before looking at it, basically, is Okamoto capable of a 4 WAR? That's kind of what I look at. If he has a 4 WAR, odds are he's going to be way better than Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's playing shortstop. He's playing third base. He's not going to be very good on defense. I think Okamoto's going to play really good D, above average D. I don't know if he's going to play Gold Glove D, but I actually see him as a very, very good overall player. I think he's going to end up hitting higher in the lineup. He was only hitting 7th tonight. I could see him hitting, ahead of Varsho and potentially even ahead of Kirk. Could definitely see him as, maybe a 5-6 hitter in this lineup. I actually have a feeling that Okamoto is going to... I think he's going to have a higher overall WAR than Bo Bichette. Not saying he's going to hit better. I'm not going to say that. But I think, Bo Bichette's power, he's had 29 home runs, 24 home runs, 20 home runs. I think that the power is matchable here. The on-base is certainly matchable given the average. Like if Okamoto hits 260 or 270, then I think that he's definitely going to have the better WAR. Now, let's just see what Okamoto is kind of projected for by streamers. So I'm just going to load up the page here and see. I have not looked at this previously, so I'm just going to say that right now. Projected for a 2.3 WAR this year. Projected for a 248 average, a 321 on base, and a 442 slugging. Okay, what is Bo Bichette projected for by streamer? A 3.3 WAR, and then Zips is a different thing. Zips has 2.5 for Okamoto and 4 for Bo Bichette. So 4 seems to be the thing to beat. So I'm just kind of curious. I want to know what Ernie Clement did last year on Fangraphs. Because Ernie Clement, I don't think is quite the bat that Okamoto is going to be. But, he's going to have better defense. A 3.2 WAR for Ernie Clement. Okay. So I think a realistic... I could see 4 for Okamoto. 3.5 is probably a really good prediction for him because he does have a pretty good bat. I think he's going to be pretty solid with the bat. It's going to be close between these two, but I think at the end of the day, when we look at it, when Bo Bichette got paid, 39 or 42 million per year, and then you picked up Okamoto for a 4-year, $60 million deal, I think that it's going to be close, and I could definitely see a world in which Okamoto does better than Bo Bichette. Defense is going to be way better. I don't think that Fangraphs is giving him enough credit there, and I do not think that these projections are giving him enough credit with the offense. Typically, when it comes to projections, especially with an unknown quantity, and that's what Okamoto is because he's never played in the league, they tend to pick on the low side. And I think a 248 average for this player is low. In fact, if I go to ESPN.com, I bet you ESPN has a better projection for Okamoto. So let's just see what ESPN's projecting here. And I think there's going to be trade value. So if you own Okamoto, I do think there's going to be trade value because there's Jays fans that watch this player every night. Wow, ESPN is projecting him for a 776 OPS this season. A 248 average, so they're all kind of saying around 248. I think the average will be a little higher. They're projecting 23 home runs, 437 slugging, and pretty good on base. If there's a 340 on base to a 248 average, this guy's definitely got better on base, better eye than Bo Bichette. Not going to hit for the same average, though. He's not going to hit over 290, but I think I don't know if we necessarily lost a whole lot. And now that I'm looking at Pitch Please's roster, I kind of want Brendan Donovan and Okamoto. I think those are two guys. Those are grinders. Those are your grinders, man. They're grinders with talent. They fucking get the bat on the ball. They get on base. They're scrappy. They're fucking good players. So, yeah, I'm just interested to see. I think there's a world in which we live in where we look at the Bo Bichette signing and we're like, thank God we didn't just, force our hand there. Now, sticking with signings, we are going to turn our attention to a signing that was done by the Chicago Cubs. I think this is a huge overpay. A huge overpay. Nico Horner, second baseman for the Cubs, was signed to a 6-year contract extension worth $141 million. Nico Horner plays great D. Great D. Nico Horner runs fast. Nico Horner has no power. And Nico Horner, I don't know. He's a pretty good average hitter. I do get that. I just feel like if this was a cap world, I definitely wouldn't do this. You're signing him till he's 34, so it's not really the end of the world. You're not going to see too much of a decline in him. The bat-to-ball guys typically don't decline at a young age. But you're talking about a 722 OPS career, a 282 average, a 339 on base, and a mere 383 slugging percentage. 36 career home runs. Only one time in his career was he able to hit 10 home runs, double-digit home runs. Yes, I see, 20 stolen bases, 43, 31, 29. The stolen base numbers are fine. I just don't think he's as impactful as what Baseball Reference is saying for his WAR. I get it, great defense, but like that, just seems like a lot of money. But again, there's no salary cap, so I can't say it's a bad signing. He's not a bad ball player. He's certainly not a great fantasy player, but he does have value in the sense that he does add a lot of stolen bases and batting average to the team that has him, which it seems like we're really focused on Pitch Please's team. He does seem to be playing for Pitch Please this season as well. So pretty interesting there. There were some moves that were made today. I know that because I was the motherfucker that made most of these fucking moves. So let's go over today's transactions. Ned Flanders made a move adding Nolan Chanel, first baseman of the Angels, in exchange for Davis Schneider of the Blue Jays. Nolan Chanel, I have no idea who this guy is. So I do want to kind of learn a little bit. OPS number is not terrible last year, 742. Home run numbers, 12. Stolen bases aren't great. I'm not really understanding the move yet. I'm not understanding the move. But that's why we have newbies. They have to learn. We'll probably see Nolan Chanel cut soon. He's off to a hot start, and that's probably what Ned Flanders is looking at there. The next move we have is a drop. Bunt force trauma drops Dylan Cruz of Washington in favor of guess what? Guess who it is. You don't have to guess who, you can guess what team. Jesus Sanchez of the Blue Jays. So another Blue Jay has been plucked by bunt force trauma. All in on Blue Jays and ex-Blue Jays players. I will tell you, if this works and somehow they procure a playoff spot, I will be handing over wads of cash because I will be extremely impressed if it works. Right now, bunt force trauma is, I'm sorry to say it, my 10 seed. I see them being a 10 seed and no better. If they prove me wrong, though, I might have to, like, send a goddamn gift card, an ESPN gift card of like $7,500, something nice, because I'm just saying. I've never. The only time this might work would have been back in like 2004, 2005, if you were drafting like all Yankees, all Red Sox for offense. That shit probably would work. All due respect to the Jays, I don't think they're quite there as a team offensively to be able to like just all in on them. But we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. You know, right now, blunt force trauma is kicking my ass 7-4. But I did get ready. The beast awoke and decided, rather than just playing conservative and taking the first 3 weeks off, which was my plan with all the injury players, you know, I was prepared to just, you know, stick around 500 for a little while. Then I remembered that there's a cocksucker in this league named Sage. So I decided, okay, I'm going to ramp up a little bit. So I cut ties with Jordan Lawler, and I picked up Chad Patrick of Milwaukee. Chad Patrick is a pitcher that looks a lot better than I was expecting. Milwaukee has been extremely good at developing pitchers, and even though this guy is 27 years old, had a 3.53 ERA last year, a whip of 1.28, and 127 strikeouts in 119 innings. So I may have found a gem starting pitcher when really I was just trying to find a guy to slot into the rotation tomorrow. But I think this guy's going to stay on the team because I've also got their 3-starter, Brandon Woodruff. So I'm starting to, you know, collect a little bit of the Milwaukee talent there. And then I was like, you know what? Do I hold out and try to trade Jackson Holiday? Do I try to do that? I'm just like, I don't know. I really like my fucking second baseman. And if I don't fucking do good with that second baseman, I can find another guy that's going to hit like shit, like a 700 OPS. Jackson Holiday, a former top prospect, do not get me wrong, 22 years old. He's worth a stash, sure, but he hasn't really put it together yet at the major league level. I do wonder how much of his hype is because his father, Matt Holliday, was such a great player, and there's no denying that. But you just wonder sometimes with the bloodlines of Hall of Fame type caliber players, if that's really like, increasing their value a little bit. Nothing against Jackson Holiday. I do think he looks like a little bitch, so I did add Christian Javier to replace him. Christian Javier has had some good years. He happens to pitch tomorrow. He's been a little all over the place. Last year was not a good year, and the year before was just an okay year. Very inconsistent, but if you can go back to his 2022 year, where, you know, he had a 2.54 ERA, versus 2021 with a 3.55, or even his 2024 with a 3.89 ERA, I think I'll be pretty happy there. So those are your transactions for the day. And again, I really liked that hit that Okamoto had tonight. It was a hit that had a terrible exit velocity, but it showed me there's some plate coverage there that I don't think was talked about enough. And it kind of tells me that, you know, all these people that are projecting 240 to 250 averages are probably going to be wrong. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just saying that plate coverage typically does not go for low averages like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But, good way to start the season today, sorry. We will be back at it tomorrow, but I really, one takeaway, end of the year, remind me, Bo Bichette versus Okamoto to just even do a full episode on them and just see who did what. And then we'll look at the value of the contracts, etc. I'd like to see. I have a feeling Okamoto is going to be right there or better than Bo Bichette. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, that's it. I'm calling it right there. I'm taking a fucking knee. Have a good night, guys, and see you tomorrow. Actually, I won't be on tomorrow. Unless we want to do a really late stream, I don't think I can get on tomorrow. Because I got to drive to Halifax at like fucking midnight. So, question me as a doubtful, okay? Question me as a doubtful for tomorrow. And I would say I'm definitely not going to do a stream tomorrow. I'd like to, but can't. Fucking Halifax, man. Fucking Halifax. Man, I should fucking see if King of Donair is open at that hour, Sage. Sage, do some research for me. Find out if King of Donair is open at that hour, and I might just get a Donair. All right, have a good night, guys. We will see you Sunday, okay? See you guys Sunday.